Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Q on the scene here, and today we're going to go over how Magneto should be utilized so you can win more games on this
What
guy.
hero do you think
Now,
you
just to
might
give
be
you guys a
today?
bit of my background on this game, I'm currently Celestial 3 from playing mostly Magneto. My current win percentage on Magneto and ranked is currently 64.7% for this season. I have hit Grandmaster on Overwatch in Season 3, playing mostly Ana and Kiriko. There aren't that many people in Celestial as of right now. I would say I have a decent understanding of the support and tank role in this game. During my climb through the ranks, I've witnessed countless games where Magneto players struggle to find a temp to play him at and utilize his kit effectively, which prompted me to make this video so I can help players better understand how he could be played. Here are three factors that I think are important to keep in mind when playing Magneto, which involves positioning, ability management, and understanding his matchups. Now, when we talk about positioning on Magneto, I'm mostly referring to his spacing or knowing how to play him aggressively and defensively during fights. Magneto does struggle at times against melee characters, but is really good against comps that do a lot of spam damage. So this also explains why you often see Magneto solo tanking and does really well as a result of his self-sustain. Since he's a walking fridge, he's very easy to punish when he's in a bad position. He doesn't have any kind of escapability outside his ult compared to other tanks like Doctor Strange or Venom. Maximizing the use of your range will allow you to win more games on Magneto as well. He does do a lot of poke damage, so playing at the forefront of the fight while keeping a distance from the enemy is a pretty optimal way of playing him. Although Magneto's primary fire does more damage with direct hits, he also has splash damage, so aiming towards the enemy's feet will help with consistently doing damage at times. Usually, I'm poking at targets behind the enemy tanks as Magneto, because if I pressure the targets behind their tanks, especially their supports, it'll cause the tanks to subsequently move back as well, since they're not getting as much of the healing they need to stay in the fight. You don't have to spend the whole game shooting tanks, because you're just allowing the supports to charge their ultimate for every fight, essentially, especially in the support meta. In other words, if the supports don't die, the tanks won't die most of the time. Now let's talk about ability management. The difference maker for a lot of games with Magneto is how you use your bubble and your ultimate in fights. Note that Magneto's bubble absorbs up to 300 damage, and damage dealt to it will recharge your knockback faster. Magneto's bubble can also block most hard crowd control abilities or ultimates, such as Jeff's ult. Since his metallic curtain shield is indestructible, it is good a lot of the time to prioritize using your bubble offensively to get off that extra damage from your knockback in between your right clicks, or prioritize using it on someone else on your team who will need it, while saving your metallic curtain to keep yourself from taking damage. It's important to note that metallic curtain is an indestructible shield on a 3-second cooldown, and the shield itself lasts for 3 seconds. For instance, Mag's bubble can be used to help set up for a lot of different ults like Doctor Strange ult to prevent him from being stunned out of it. Another small tip for using Magneto is that it can be used to not only block damage but healing as well. Since the shield absorbs all projectiles, it can absorb the projectiles that deal healing and is useful for securing those kills on tanks that are in a pretty aggressive position by cutting off their healing. As mentioned before, you can use his knockback in between your right clicks to maximize your damage and secure kills, especially since the knockback does not have a max range. A nice trick you can do with Magneto against certain tank matchup is to aggressively place yourself behind the enemy tank to knock them back towards your team, and then hold your shield in front to cut off their healing while your team does damage to them. It's a bit of a small tactic, but it can sometimes catch them off guard and help allow your team secure a pick. You see me targeting the people behind the tanks, and I'm trying to pressure their supports or any of the squishy targets behind the tank. And you can also see me here where I try to block off the healing from the tank as I notice that the Magneto is low. Now let's talk about Magneto's ult Meteor M, or what I like to call the Big Slam. This ultimate is one of the strongest ultimates in the game because for a few seconds, the damage at a certain range is absorbed and it creates a nuke that virtually one shots most characters in the game. This has proven to be useful against support ultimates since he can one shot them out of their healing. The ult charges up in damage and size in two different ways, both from passively growing in size as you hold it and also by absorbing projectiles. A common mistake I see many Magneto players make is casting their ult too early, causing them to miss out on potential damage they could have done with their ultimate. It's important to note that as you're absorbing projectiles, if you charge the ult up to at least 50% and you cast it early, you can still one shot a target. Although Magneto's ult does a lot of damage, it's very easy to dodge or block. So to help land his ult more often, I advise us to simply track cooldowns as much as possible used by the enemy team. For example, if a cloak and dagger uses their cloak ability, you can definitely try to pop your ultimate after you've seen them use that ability. If it's especially if it's the only ability on the enemy team that can be used to evade your ult. Now let's talk about Magneto's matchups. If you understand what matchups are weak or strong against Magneto, you'll start to understand the tempo that you should play him at every game. As I mentioned before, Mag does struggle against melee characters such as Hulk, Thor, and Magic, since his abilities aren't unable to mitigate their damage apart from his bubble. So maintaining a distance from those kinds of characters will help you survive more during fights. If you're playing against a team comp that's more projectile or hit scan damage focus, you can start to play it a bit more aggressively once you're cycling his abilities correctly. Because Magneto's whole identity on this game is about mitigating the most damage possible and converting it into your own damage. Now, I can't give out all the sauce on this character just yet, so if you found this video helpful and want more tips on Magneto, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming. And please stop picking Spider-Man in my ranked games. Peace.
Mutants always rise again.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Better stop that vehicle!
These must belong to Namor. Here they are now.
Your dog is suffering.
You need not fear.
You're welcome.
The moon haunts you.
I unleash the Vishanti's power.
You should be ashamed. You shall not be hurt.
I have a shield, but nothing else.
Not hurt me. Moon Knight's funk is no longer a threat.
Got your back.
What vile creatures Namor has summoned?
He stopped them in their tracks.
It seems we have company. Much better.
I am ready to put on a show.
Magneto!
Creatures have risen from the earth.
Watch your back. Disappear!
Shall not be harmed.
I have a shield. No complaints. 360 seconds left. Anyone willing to help?
My power cannot be quelled.
Better stop that vehicle.
Portal.
Don't give them another. Or else.
Under my protection. The moon haunts you.
I
0 to 2. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
Be wary. No timeline exists where Magneto yields.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. Round 2.
I am not the man I used to be. I have found a greater cause.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
The mighty Magneto. We have much in common.
In that we are both despised by the people we strive to protect and lead.
Quite so. For a mortal, you are very perspicacious.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
We can pull it off. I've been in worse gangs.
Pentagram of horror.
Incoming! Your guard! My sorcery still needs better.
A little help, please.
These beasts must belong to Namor. I cast aside the dead. Your attacks are futile.
Don't mind me.
Look out, back
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Much better.
Now I see that. These squids reek of desperation, Namor.
You cannot hurt me.
Hey, Dee! Enjoy the amplifier!
I am ready to put on a show! Shields up!
The moon! You shall not be harmed.
You have my gratitude.
Do not expect me to do that again. Back to the bottom of the ocean. You cannot hurt me.
I unleash the Bashanti's power.
Your attacks are futile.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Someone scratch my
Guess
back.
it's time for us to
I'll
head
patch
underground.
you up.
Your god is suffering.
Pick up your poison knife. That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
I still need you.
By the eye.
Shields up!
Much better.
Hey, Dee!
Disappear!
Magneto! Fellow Superior reigns supreme.
So close! This is your big chance!
More bad guys. Just what we need.
Again!
Someone
Final score, 3, 2, 2.